Hello and welcome to our next episode with Coffee with a Carrier. My name is Kevin Timone, Senior Vice President of Sales with LISI, and we have a very special guest here today from Heartland Payroll, Geoff Abbott. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we're going to get down and dirty in the payroll game and see what the relationship means for LISI and Heartland Payroll. We've also got a new partner that plays a pivotal role in that relationship, that is EASE. And we're going to talk about payroll integration. We're going to talk about IT, HR, and compliance, and what we're all trying to do to serve the brokerage community. Geoff, welcome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, tell us a little about what's going on with Heartland.
Heartland is in a unique space right now in the marketplace where we have recently released an integration, actually two integrations into EASE online benefit platform that really broadens our horizons with the broker community, which is exactly where we want to be.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Well, I know you guys have sales support throughout the state. Yep. And what I noticed about the Heartland reps that you have is there's a lot of seasoned people that have been doing this a really long time. You, no exception to that. Talk to me a little bit about how you created your lineup throughout the state. I know you manage a group of folks here in LA. And what can brokers expect to hear when they get the call from
That's
Heartland?
a great question, Kevin. Absolutely, yeah. So the way that things work here is at Heartland is we really focus on only the best. I look at it as an all-star team, you know, from our competitors. We only go after individuals that have been in the industry for at least 5, maybe 10. Personally, I've been in the industry for 20 years. And that helps us simply go to market quicker. And be an asset to those individuals that we partner with. We come to them ready to educate, ready to be a tool for them so that they can simply put us right in front of their clients, and they're incredibly happy with the outcome.
Well, like you guys, we deliver a number of services. So one thing I know is Heartland is not just payroll. So when a broker, looks to work with Heartland and the LISI sales support that they have, what are some of the other things that they can expect to get help on?
Absolutely. So we really strive to make sure that they're covered on the HR side. We know that that's a place right now that's simply growing, and there's more and more laws and regulations and rules and trainings that they need to worry about. So we want to be that tool. We want to be there for them. The client can simply come right to us and say, I'm not really sure about this law. What do I need to know about this? What can I do here? How can I make sure that I'm not only educated, but that I have the tools in place so that if anything ever happens, I'm covered, right? And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to bring to the client, is simply give them that backing so that they can do the job that they wanted to do in the first place when they started this business, right? That's what we want to do. Yeah.
So our history goes back over a decade ago.
Yes.
When I was first introduced to Heartland. Originally it was Ovation, I believe.
That's correct, you got
it. It's traded names, and I know that you guys have been acquired by a very large company, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But over 10 years, what have you learned about the California brokerage community? What are some of the lessons learned and the things that have helped you pivot to best support the brokerage community?
The brokerage community has really had to develop, right? They've had customers come to them with expectations more than insurance, right? So they've really needed to learn as much as they possibly can to be an asset to their clients. And part of that is simply surrounding yourself with quality individuals, right? And again, that's what we try and bring to the marketplace. And so those quality individuals are just going to back you up and make you look like a superstar. Yeah. And that's exactly what we want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we aim to do that as well. And we don't take partnerships lightly at LISI. One of the things that we dive into and do our due diligence off the bat is it a cultural fit?
Right.
And I'm just continually impressed by the culture that I see. Peter Diaz and myself attended a conference about 6 or so months ago out in Colorado.
Absolutely.
And we got to get a real feel and a sense for the entrepreneurial spirit that Heartland has, the drive that the individuals possess, and LISI is formed in a lot of ways the same.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about that. When you have a Heartland rep in your territory, what is really their focus? What are some of the things that come out of that culture, of that mindset to really drive and be that entrepreneurial?
Right on the back of our business card is entrepreneurs respectfully serving entrepreneurs. I mean, that's really what we strive to do on a regular basis, is come in and make sure respectfully that we let the end user know exactly what we can do for them and how they will be supported and how we can better them in the marketplace so that, again, they can simply do what they need to do and move forward and leave the payroll, HR, any kind of integration that they're looking for to us. And one of the major points that I try and bring forward to clients and the broker community, to be honest, is that the way that Heartland is paid, the way that we are paid as sales reps is on our happiness, is on the happiness of clients, right? Because we are paid a residual, not a base salary. And that residual is exactly that, is how happy are those clients with us? And if the clients aren't happy, then we get paid less. Right?
That's right.
And what does that do? That makes it so that obviously we're going to answer the phone all the time. We're going to be available for our clients all the time. We're going to be an advocate, not only for our clients, but also for our referral sources, for that broker community, to make sure that everything runs smoothly and everything transitions well. And that's really what we strive to do. Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. And that's apparent. And we've already gotten recent feedback. We just launched the program a couple of months ago. We've already got some mutual clients, and they've been very pleased with the situation. Looking at creating these partnerships for the brokers, oftentimes it's offensive, but also it can be defensive at times.
You're right.
And there's a number of your competitors that have chosen to enter into the benefits game, and it's a threat that our brokers that we serve have to be aware of.
Absolutely.
Tell me how you position yourself within that within that environment, and how you've been able to protect brokers' business in the market out there with some of the competitive nature.
Absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, you're right on all points there. So when I was working actually for one of our competitors when I first started, I was developing these wonderful relationships with the broker community, and then my employer at that time decided to enter the insurance business, and I watched all of those brokers' relationships just simply fade away, and that was when I decided to make the move to Heartland. To be honest, I enjoy being a partner, and I really feel like that's a cultural thing with Heartland, is that we want to partner. We want to be there to help others grow, right? And that type of mentality is just a better place to be in the marketplace. Rather than trying to take all the business for yourself, why not help others grow? And to be honest, they're the specialists in their field, right? It's always better to surround the client with specialists in each field. It makes everything more sticky. The client stays with you for a longer period of time, and they feel better, right? They feel better about the information they're getting.
Well, and that's a really good point. One of the things that we realized early on through this partnership is we have thousands of groups that are currently enrolled through EASE. And now that Heartland is positioned through that integration, that's really the low-hanging fruit. In our opinion, and through conversations with brokers that we work with, that's like the last linchpin, if you will, that really brings all the benefits and the payroll, the HR, the compliance, all buttoned up really nice.
Right.
And so talk to me a little bit about the ease of enrolling those clients that are currently with EASE through Heartland.
Oh, it's incredibly easy. All we need to do is simply get a signature and one report out of EASE, right? And all we do is match up the information, make sure we have the correct information in our system. And from there, a button is added on their side in the payroll system so that when they have a new employee that goes through the onboarding process, all they need to do is hit the one button. And you can look at it like a vacuum. It simply sucks in all of the information the payroll system doesn't have already, right? It goes into the EASE side and it simply looks for information the payroll side doesn't have yet and simply brings it right in, no problem. It happens incredibly quickly. And then you've got everything ready to go to process.
Right. And it's just as easy as that, folks. I mean, you can contact your regional sales manager over at LISI. They're going to reach out to Geoff or his team, and we can start to isolate those groups that are currently enrolled on that platform and see what we can do to get you enrolled. Now, in terms of the high season, low season, give me a sense of how the payroll market kind of moves. And the benefit side, fourth quarter is huge for us. Heading into January is also huge. So give me a sense of what brokers can expect as we get into the second half of the year.
Absolutely, great question. So one of the things that that's paramount for brokers to understand is that we do not want to start the ease integration during an open enrollment, right? Because that's when the information can flux, right? You've got people in the system, they're changing their own information. So what we really, in a perfect world, want to do is get the client on board, get the ease integration set up before open enrollment, right? So then we can roll into open enrollment with the ease integration there. As far as busy seasons, I start usually in the fourth quarter, but January is our big season. It's when people can change their payroll service, with zero wages, zero taxes, right? So it's a signature and avoidance check, to be honest.
So in terms of a focus date, if you will, if you're a broker listening to today's podcast, you want to be able to try to narrow in those clients now. Get with your regional sales manager. They're going to get the Heartland rep. They're going to come out, sit with you, talk about your agency makeup. When do you have groups renewing? And then again, to Jeff's point, it looks like January is a lot less disruption, if you will, moving from one payroll to another. And that's an important day to look out for. So California market has no shortage of general agencies. I'm sure you're aware of that. What was part of the decision process to go with LISI?
LISI really fits us culturally. As far as the individuals that we work with in the marketplace, as far as our team goes, you guys have a lot of similarities to us. We're integrity is there, the work ethic is there. An example, I'm working with a partner, my partner for LISI. We're spending the entire week together next week. It's not, as soon as the ball's rolling, we jump on it as quickly as we can, and we get things moving and going. And that's what I see in LISI, and that's what Heartland saw when we were looking around, is that you guys, you don't mess around. You move forward and you make sure that everybody knows it.
Yeah, a big part of my decision to come to LISI just over a year ago, just celebrated my 1 year.
Nice, congratulations.
Was because of their vision and their forward-thinking focus on how to arm brokers with the best in technology and tools, and the game has really changed since when I got into the business 20 years ago. You've been in it 20 years.
Yep.
And now it's neat to see how payroll and benefits have really come together at that intersection.
Absolutely.
And it's not the same as just running a benefits quote, fighting for an RAF like we used to.
Right.
Now it's really about encompassing all the aspects and really improving upon that employer experience, something that LISI has been really focused on. And you guys are really that last piece of the puzzle so that a broker can go out and separate themselves from their competitors. One of the things we take a lot of pride in is that a broker and an employer that work through the LISI channel have an advantage over the rest. We want to make sure brokers are out there having discussions related to all the points that you touched on, whether it's HR, compliance, benefits, technology, all of those things come into play. And then where else we're going to take that? What's next on the horizon for us to be able to arm and empower brokers to do that? Employers, the same experience. So versus going through somebody that doesn't have the support and technology and partnerships like we have with you guys, they're going to have a lesser experience.
Yep.
And we continually get feedback from brokers who speak to their employers about the onboarding process, about the opportunity to have access to best in show products that they may or may not have had with those that are not working with a general agency or perhaps one of our competitors. And that's an exciting part of what I've been able to do here at LISI.
Yep, definitely. I see it. And I've just walking around in my neighborhood and in my city, I see LISI all the time. You guys are everywhere now. Yeah. It's amazing. What have you guys done differently? Just really stepped it up.
It's really been a journey for a lot of us. Over the course of last year, heading into fourth quarter, we had a sizable change in leadership and focus. We brought on Jeff Grocky, who's now spearheading and leading the effort in terms of marketing. I got an opportunity to come over here and collaborate with my partners, Ken Doyle and Denise Colon. And, it's really just been a shift in mindset. So much of what we do in sales is really getting our sales professionals to shift their mindset into that entrepreneurial focus, into that hunter mentality to go out and really support the brokerage community at the level that maybe they're not used to. It's nice to get a call from a payroll rep at 4 o'clock on a Friday that says, hey, I'm out here in traffic just like you, and or Monday morning when they're hitting the street early and and the sun is coming up and we're all kind of heading out to see, if you will, to go out there and see what we can do to expand our own businesses and make our clients happy. But similar to what you said earlier, which is a really good point, is how we hire sales professionals. And in my career, there's been a variety of approaches. In my past life, I had inside sales and outside sales, and here we've got a real focus on outside. And we really shifted our mentality more into quality versus quantity. There's a list and a group or an audience of reps that are out here in California that are absolutely exceptional. I've been lucky enough to be able to bring on 6 new reps since I came on over a year ago. And when you talk about speed to market, when you talk about professionalism, talk about people that have really mastered their game, a term we always use at the company is school is always in session.
Yep.
You always have to be sharpening your knife. You always have to be, improving your skill set, because now employers are coming at you and our brokers, so many different ways.
Yep.
I mean, you could be sitting there just having a benefits conversation and somebody wants to talk about, sexual harassment training, or the proper doc wrap things that you're going to need. And if you're not equipped to have that conversation, you're going to lose.
Yep.
And so it's just been such a neat experience to be able to bring on the talent that we have recently, and more importantly, to see their success so quick.
Yes.
Typically, I don't know how long it takes for you, but it could be upwards of a year, 2 or 3 years before a sales executive really gets their stride. And we're just not seeing that. And I think that there's a lot of things that add to the reason for that success is one, the quality of the reps. I think that there's a shortage of good reps in the market out there that brokers are tired of. And so what our focus is, and especially now that we have the partnership with Heartland, is to come out and not just be talking about benefits and quotes and what are you working on today, but a long-term vision. How do we integrate with your agency to set you up for success? How do we give you the insight and the wherewithal and the technology to go out and honestly compete against another broker that perhaps has chosen not to work within the general agency space, or perhaps just works directly with the carriers? And so that's been a really exciting time. And then having the investments from ownership, Becky Patel, Phil Epperts have been instrumental in investing where what we need to have as professionals to be effective. And I think that that's a clear sign of what we did with Heartland.
Amazing. That's incredible. Yeah, I see a lot of the same between the two companies as far as the individuals that you're hiring. The people that we are hiring do the exact same thing, and we've been just so lucky to find them. They're going to market 3 to 6 months instead of taking what it used to be. You're right, something around a year, maybe even more. These people are getting out there and getting on it and making sure that it's happening. And if it's not happening, they're not giving up. And that, I feel, that spirit is of persistence is so important in an individual, and we've been so lucky to find those individuals. Sounds like you have as well, and I'm just so happy about this partnership.
Well, word gets out.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're having a good time, I think people at large want to be a part of that.
Yep.
And that's really what we've been doing. We've been having fun. It's integrity is a buzzword for both of us.
Yep.
And that brings the right audience of brokers to the table. When you exercise those beliefs, when you operate that way in the market, you find that those matches or those agencies that have similar cultural approaches, they tend to kind of migrate towards companies.
Absolutely, it's a magnetism. It really is. I mean, you draw those people to you. And that is simply due to everything that we've talked about as far as the work ethic and the integrity, and they see that. Not to mention having fun. You can't stop having fun. You have to do that. Otherwise, it's really a job, and it can't be that way. You have to have that passion and drive, right? And
speaking of having fun, so you and I are going to have to decide what events we go to, I fear that maybe you like one ball club here locally versus what I like in the north. Go ahead. Is it blue?
You know Big Blue, baby.
Oh,
All about the Dodgers.
You're going to have to pay more of that tab, and I'll pay more of the tab of the Giants game.
That's fine. That's a deal. I got it.
So we are going to have some events, and
Yeah.
so I think brokers that are watching this should look out for some email notifications and some excitement. We want to get brokers out to have a good time, and it really it's a relaxed setting like you and I have here today.
Yeah.
It's to sit down and get a little bit more intimate in terms of what they're looking to do for fourth quarter. What mindset is their agency in?
Right.
You know, with all of the mergers and acquisitions that are taking place in the market today, you know, you really have to dig a little deeper in the conversation related to where a broker's at.
Yeah.
And I think we're both looking for one type of broker, and that is a broker, well, actually two. One is a broker that's got that growth mindset, okay, that are out there, they're using marketing tools, they're engaging in different social events and on social media, like you said, we've been doing.
Yep.
And then you have a broker that's protecting their business, that they're arming their business and from the competitors that we talked about. And so I think that those events really open up that conversation, and they're fun to have.
Absolutely, totally. It's a good conversation to have, and let them know. I mean, it's all about education, right? And fun, but having that education really helps them to understand a path forward, right? And that's what we're trying to provide, is just give them the ability to move forward and grow. And both of those brokers are perfect fits for what we bring to market.
That's great. So there's a lot of similarities, and please let me know, quoting health insurance is very similar to quoting payroll. In other words, we have a census that we need, and you have a census. What are the things that a broker needs to have if they want to go ahead and get a Heartland payroll quote?
Oh, it's incredibly easy, Kevin. It's the amount of employees that the individual has or the business has, and that's active, total active employees, not necessarily individuals that are on the policy, but total active employees. And then how often do they process payroll? And from there, we can at least start the process and start the conversation. And then it's a matter of, well, you know, what kind of HR tools can we give you? What can we arm you with? What kind of integrations can we bring to you to make it so that the administrator in your business or the client's business it can do other things in the business rather than sit there and run payroll?
It's good. That's a good point. A good segue to, you know, there's a lot of value adds in the industry. Can you speak to some of the value adds that somebody can expect to receive from Heartland? There's probably some things where you can position Heartland against some of the bigger or other names that are out there in the business. What are some of those buzzwords? What are some of the things that would get interest in a client if you're working with LISI on a medical case, you want to bring in Heartland to bring them both in there to show that full integration? What are some of those things?
Some of those things would be, how can we make your life easier in respect to when you are, you know, posting all of those journal entries into your accounting software, right? Can we make it so that happens automatically for you? What about the workers' compensation? Can we make it so that payment just happens every time you run a payroll? And what that does is it makes it so that you're never going to get an audit and owe money at the end of the year or something to that effect, because that payment to that workers' comp policy is based on real payroll dollars, right? So all we're trying to do is make the business more efficient. Can we make it so that the employees have the ability to change some of their information for you, right? Can they change their W-4 information, their withholdings, their marital status, their address? Can they change their direct deposit information so that you don't have to do it? You know, let's put a little work on their shoulders so that we can take it off of the administrator. So that's the kind of things that we bring that make life easier for that client and allow them to focus more on their business.
Back to that employer experience.
Exactly.
Business efficiencies.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's always sits well with the brokers. There's so much work that has now been put on them to be able to address with their clients, and it just sounds like a breath of fresh air to have the payroll component, somebody that can speak intelligently to some of the employer issues and concerns and questions. Then you've got some of the benefit expertise that comes through LISI. If you're an agent sitting back listening to this, I got to tell you, it sounds like a perfect recipe for success. Then you've got the onboarding process through ease. So you've got ease, you've got Heartland, you've got LISI, all integrated to be able to bring you the best in show in terms of employer onboarding and open enrollment. We've also got some key players that work under our portfolio. Anthem Blue Cross also has the technology and integration through LISI and Heartland, and that's something that you should ask and inquire about with your regional sales manager. So back to events.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your successes out here. You know, the big splash or the market share that you guys happen to have now didn't happen overnight.
That's correct.
When do you think the real turning point was for Heartland out here in California? I mean, being a national player, you guys have probably got focuses all over the place, but tell me a little bit about specifically to here and where you guys have seen your success.
Absolutely, yeah. So to be honest, a huge amount came through the broker community. When we first started, we were really focused on CPAs, and that was our bread and butter, and of course our current client base, and providing great service obviously led to more business in that respect. But when we started to focus on the broker community, that's when we really saw the business increase. And this is just a double down on that, right? I mean, we've pivoted to the broker community rather than the CPA community. And that's really our absolute top tier of reps, the individuals that are in the top 3, top 5 of the company, right? Those individuals, I know from experience, are only calling on the broker community. They have stopped calling on the CPA community.
That's great. That's the insurance market's greatest asset.
Exactly.
Are the brokers out here that get up every day and work hard.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So shifting over to a couple of other competitors that brokers out here have to be aware of is namely and Gusto, 2 direct-to-consumer IT programs that are out there going after employers directly. And as LISI continues to bring more product offerings, and we'll talk about HR 360 and XyWave here in a little bit, talk to me about how you have worked with brokers and help them compete against some of those companies that are coming in and talking to their clients.
It's a great question, Kevin, and it's funny because I'm having that conversation on a regular basis with brokers. It really goes back to that surrounding the client with specialists in their field. What we're doing here is you're bringing individuals that know their payroll and HR. You're bringing LISI right in, right? That's there to support them on the broker side and the health insurance side, and then, you know, you've got ease there to help them with that full integration, right? There's a specialist in every field surrounding that broker, surrounding that client, to make sure that they're insulated, to make sure that everything works perfectly. And then you look at the direct consumer options, and to be perfectly honest, it's really an 800 number that you're giving the client. There really is not a level of service there. And to be able to bring that service to someone, I mean, talk about competition, it really blows them out of the water. And we've done amazing things with clients in that respect.
Yeah, and it sounds like we both recognize that.
Yeah.
Right? You've got your services that you provide on the payroll side, and the HR and the compliance, and then we've been able to partner with XyWave, who's been around a long time.
Yeah.
HR 360, who was purchased by XyWave.
Yep.
And so now, heading into fourth quarter, as you're aware of, we've now got the HR 360 and XyWave products that are now available to various group sizes, discounted pricing for agents that are working with smaller groups, and then obviously some of that is actually included in some of your sales heading into fourth quarter. And so if you take a minute to look at the culmination of Heartland Payroll, LISI, Ease, XyWave 360, and the super talent that both of us possess, that's a pretty good recipe for success, wouldn't you say?
It's an all-star team, Kevin. It's amazing. You surround that with, the broker has to be unbelievably happy and more than competitive against these direct-to-consumer products. I mean, it is revolutionary, to be honest, what we're doing in the marketplace.
Yeah, these are exciting times to be in the benefits game and the payroll game, and we couldn't be happier to be partnering with Heartland Payroll and working with executives like yourself. And there's going to be a ton of success available to brokers going into fourth quarter and beyond. You know, these partnerships are long-term strategies, a vision that LISI had early on to bring companies like Heartland and other products to bear so that you guys have the resources and the technology to get out there and really compete in this market. And Geoff, thank you very much for being here today. It's been a real pleasure to sit down with you.
Same. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Thank you.